Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
We are talking about the press conference for the most jam-packed fight card this year. Let's talk about it.
So, we just watched the press conference that had Devin Haney and his opponent, Jose Ramirez, Ryan Garcia and his opponent, Rolly Romero, and Teofimo Lopez and his opponent, Mr. Barboza. Now, listen, while we were watching the fight, while we were watching the press conference, there's a number of things that stood out to us. A couple of things that I noticed that were kind of out of character for some of these fighters. First of all, Jose Ramirez got the least amount of talk time, but he's a very humble guy, a little bit of a veteran. If I'm being honest with you, I don't have him beating Devin Haney. That being said, look, Devin Haney's coming off a very tough loss. So if the confidence is shook, Jose Ramirez does have a chance. I told my buddy here before he started that while I don't favor Jose Ramirez, it's not out of the question that he could win. That being said, I told him, look, man, I got 87-13, 87 Haney winning, 13% chance that Jose Ramirez gets it done. But I don't want to count the man out because he's a dog. He's a dog, and even though he's a humble guy, he's a fighter, that one. That being said, Devin Haney came out to obviously a lot of boos. A lot of people are still feeling some type of way about Devin Haney, myself included. Before he had his fight with Ryan Garcia, we had actually picked Devin Haney to win. There's a number of reasons why. Obviously, one of the main reasons is Ryan Garcia didn't seem completely there, and we had made based on the training camp, based on the way that he handled himself, all that. I was full on team Haney. It's everything that Haney did after that really made me dislike the Haney family. And it's funny. I actually watched an interview with Bill Haney right after the press conference, and Bill Haney was talking a whole lot of shit to one of the announcers, one of the people that was up there asking the questions about the fight, and he was basically disrespecting him. I mean, one of the things that Bill Haney stood out, which is why I feel like they're just going to continue to get hate. The announcer asked him, why do you think your son's getting booed so much? And basically Bill Haney said, well, it's a bunch of Mexicans out here. The reason that pissed me off is because, listen, my brother, I'm Mexican, and I was rooting for your son to win in the first fight. So that's a bullshit-ass excuse. Everybody knows why he's getting booed. He's getting booed because instead of just saying, hey, man, I got my ass beat, I think he cheated, let's run it back, which would have been the perfect way to do it. And I've given you a number of different fighters that have done exactly that. He went through this whole thing about getting it overturned, about getting Ryan suspended, all this stuff. Listen, bro, just run it back. If it was really about that, run it back. Make sure that you test the crap out of Ryan Garcia, and then we'll see what happens. If you won, we'll say, hey, maybe it was the PEDs. Maybe, Devin did deserve to win. Or look, if Ryan gets it back, you can't make the same excuse twice. So that's one of the things that I noticed. I thought it was BS. I did feel a little bit bad for Devin Haney because I don't think Devin Haney in himself is a bad person. I just think his pride was hurt because he got beat bad in that Ryan Garcia fight. His dad, who has been his cheerleader, his feelings were hurt because of what happened to his son. And their egos were hurt. They thought they were the hottest shit since Floyd Mayweather, and they were clearly corrected. So I feel like that's a bunch of excuses that I don't like to see being made by the Haney camp, and that's why your son's the bad guy. As far as Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero was uncharacteristically quiet, man, which I'm a little surprised at. Now, we all know, Rolly has been getting dog-walked by most of his opponents. Even a super old Ismael Barroso, I believe. I can't remember his last name. Super old guy, super old cat, and he still was dog-walking Rolly Romero. So maybe, Rolly just got humbled. But it was kind of weird how quiet, how, I don't want to say timid, but how very chill and relaxed. Very not the norm for Rolly Romero. So I don't know if he's just scared because of what he's going up against, because whether you like Ryan or not, whether you think Ryan's a cheat or not, Ryan's a dog too. And he's got that insane hell of a hook, man. So we'll see how that goes. I obviously favor Ryan in that particular fight for a number of reasons. Even if you take the hook away, man, again, just Rolly has not been doing well in his performances. So I do think Ryan's going to take that one. And then the two people that would just not shut the hell up the whole time, Teofimo Lopez and Barboza. Listen, I always tell people you can't look past people like Barboza. One of the things that Teofimo Lopez said that I did think was factually true was that he said I beat Lomachenko. And here's the thing, all respect to Barboza, he's right, man. Getting past Lomachenko is a true test. Lomachenko ain't no slouch. And while Lomachenko in his fight with Teofimo did start bringing it back in the later rounds, he just didn't get it started early enough. So Teofimo definitely deserves a shine for beating Lomachenko, especially because he fought Lomachenko when Lomachenko was still a danger. So I think when Teofimo Lopez said that to Barboza, I think was something that could definitely be said. Now, with that being said, also, Teofimo Lopez lost to Kambosos. And while I don't personally rate Kambosos that high on the ladder, I think it's one of those things where, I said it a little bit ago when I was talking to my boy here. Boxing math don't make sense, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, but he didn't beat Kambosos. So it's an interesting fight. I think if Teofimo takes it too lightly, I think he's gonna be very upset, especially because Teofimo is one of those people that when he fights, but sometimes, man, he slacks. Sometimes he slacks against people who he believes are lower tier, and he doesn't look all that great. So, yeah, man, I'm hoping Teofimo Lopez comes locked in for this fight, especially because Barboza's no pushover. Barboza definitely was in there with a lot of anger, a lot of vitriol, a lot of trying to get in Teo's face, trying to get in Teo's mind and all that. The thing that kind of, I feel like, stole the press conference, and it was obviously going viral for a little bit there, was when Teofimo Lopez and Barboza went up to face each other. That slap that Teofimo Lopez caught Barboza with, it was good, man. He caught him well. And hopefully for Barboza, that's not something that's going to repeat itself, because not only did Teofimo Lopez catch him very well, he dodged something when Barboza was trying to get back at him. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting fight. But what did you think about the press conference, my man?
Listen, man, I thought it was very wild. Especially a big shout out to Teofimo Lopez for making it as entertaining as he could, because no matter where the conversation was going, even if the conversation wasn't centered on him, Teofimo Lopez actually found himself a duty to make the event all about himself. And look, say what you want about Teofimo Lopez. You can definitely say he has a chip on his shoulder. You can definitely say he has an overinflated ego. But weirdly enough, he's actually starting to eclipse a little bit of Ryan Garcia, especially during that press conference. Even as Ryan Garcia was looking a little bit, not like his former self, not in a bad way, but he definitely seemed like a bit of a different Ryan Garcia, a different shade of him. But Teofimo Lopez, even when the spotlight wasn't on him, he still found a way to make it about himself. Even when he was questioning if Ryan Garcia was looking to face him, if he went on to go against, even if he were to go past against Rolly Romero and then Devin Haney afterwards, he says, all right, who's your next fight looking towards? And he said he was actually looking to go towards Teofimo Lopez. And there was actually some heat going on there, which I'm not going to lie. Part of me kind of wants to see that, but I'm going to get into that as far as the further in this conversation I go. Anyways. Shout out to Teofimo Lopez for not only stoking a lot of the fire in this conversation, because he was talking smack to everybody on there. He was talking smack to Barboza, he was talking smack to Devin, he was talking smack to Ryan Garcia, and even getting some jabs in, and was he getting some jabs in on Romero too? I'm positive he was a little bit of jabs here and there. And even if the smack talk wasn't centered on him, he was always stoking the fire, always being a habitual line stepper, getting him his inner Rick James. And when Ryan and Devin were talking smack to each other, he kept stoking the fire, talking about, get him. And ain't no way this man brought out the whole ass Dragon Slayer from Berserk just to talk smack to all these people. That theatric that this man had, out here looking like Captain Jack Sparrow wielding the Dragon Slayer and shouting out Fatal Fury, Mark of the Wolves. I'm all hype. If anything, one of the fights that I'm more hyped about during this card is actually going to be the Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza fight, just for the entertainment factor alone and the ferocity between both of these men. Now, moving on from that, I do think the unfortunate beast of the matter is that Devin Haney definitely was the villain of this this entire fiasco. And the thing is, Devin Haney says, okay, I've always been the villain, so I mean, it is what it is. I'm used to it at this point. But A, his body language doesn't exactly say that, and B, none of his smack talk would illustrate that he's used to being the villain. I do think that Devin Haney would actually think that he's in the right during this in the entire Ryan Garcia fiasco. And I do think it's starting to get on him a little bit. He might be laughing it off, but he something about him tells me that it's the fan reception to him is starting to get it to him a little bit, which makes me a little bit concerned about his fight up against Jose Ramirez, just a little bit. And here's the problem that I have with what is going on with 3 of the fights that are going to happen in this fight. I think Ryan Garcia is going to look past Rolly Romero, but for Rolly Romero, it's a little bit of a lower stake competition. I think Devin Haney is looking past Jose Ramirez, which I think might be a downfall for him. And Teofimo Lopez, I don't think necessarily he's looking past Arnold Barboza, but the chip on his shoulder would probably work against him at least a little bit in that fight. I don't think he's necessarily looking towards any particular fight after Barboza, but I do think the chip on his shoulder might work against him in that favor. So I do think all 3 of these men, as much as they have an exciting fight on this card and have their hands full during this entire card, I do think all of them seem to be looking past their opponents, which might be all their downfalls. At least in the case of Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney. That being said, as far as the fights I'm looking forward to most on this card, the Teofimo Lopez fight, first and foremost. Devin Haney won right after that, and Ryan Garcia, not because I'm not so much an anti-fan of Ryan Garcia, but more so because I think Rolly Romero is unfortunately been channeling his Marshawn Lynch this entire interview, where he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm here. I mean, it's my contractual obligations. I mean, it is what it is. It's a press conference. And just been absolutely calm, reserved, and not really showing any fire in this press conference, which makes you think, okay, what fire is he going to have when the time comes to actually fight? So I do think, yes, it'd be the Teofimo Lopez fight, the Devin Haney fight, and the Ryan Garcia fight, personally for me, as the most hypest matches to look forward to.
Yeah, man. Again, I do think Teofimo kind of stole the show a little bit with that slap that he put on Arnold Barboza at the end. Yeah, man. It was weird just seeing Rolly in that type of state, very calm, very chill, very not the normal Rolly. Normally, Rolly's out there talking a whole bunch of shit. So it'll be an interesting night, man. It's gonna be a great night no matter what, because this entire card I'm looking forward to. It's gonna be a great fight night, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with each one of these guys. I do agree with you a little bit. I do think they're all kind of looking past each other. Mostly because everybody wants to see that rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. That way we can shut down all the questions and nobody can make any excuses. And it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And I'm definitely going to be watching that card because it's going to be very, very interesting. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.